Everyone. Hey guys, welcome back to the Global Gaming Podcast, where we will be covering E3, but not right now. Me and DolphinVi have been both discussing it, and we both mutually decided that it would be better if we wait till E3 is done and then start talking about things. Isn't that right, DolphinV?
Yeah, and I guess we can all celebrate this episode 17, I believe. Yep, our 18th
Yeah.
episode. It's already been that long.
Yeah.
And before anyone corrects me, we started at episode 0, so there.
Anyway, we did seriously consider doing some sort of reaction to E3, but after some consideration, we realized that would kind of be a bit annoying since they're all a couple hours long. And let's be honest, every E3 there's 80 to 90% of bullshit and only a few interesting things here or there. So this way, everything we talk about when we talk about E3 will be interesting, hopefully, and hopefully we'll be able to get a whole lot of other people on board. So no promises though, but hopefully. In other news, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, so I'll make sure. In other news, what's going on right now? Oh yeah, so we'll just talk about what's going on in the news recently. Apparently, Valve recently announced that they're now letting anything and everything on Steam as long as it's not racist or offensive.
Well, I think it's not, as long as it's not criminal, just outright trolling, like blatant asset flips.
Yeah. So, for me personally, nothing much to say except this is a really good thing. I think it's as it should be. It only, I understand why they wouldn't have it that way originally, but I guess we had to make a thing of it because apparently they thought about getting rid of visual novels.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's pretty good because I'm playing a semi-visual novel right now.
That's good. I do have to say though, I don't see this as a takedown on anti-SJWs or pro-SJWs and whatnot. This is just Valve realizing they need to make money.
Yeah. Always good. Money always rules. It's always nice to see that.
Yes, money rules in a capitalistic society.
Yes, because if you go woke, you go broke.
Anyway.
I mean, that's the way it is with Lucasfilms right now.
That is true.
Yeah, they got woke and now they're going broke.
Speaking of which, I'm not a page still, but I should be. Apparently, speaking of Star Wars, you should all go play Star Wars Next to the Old Republic right now. No reason I'm really doing this. I just felt like if you feel like you're lacking a Star Wars experience, those are pretty great games. I'll fill you up on them. Only thing I have to recommend is that I recommend for the second game you play it with the restored content mod. The game feels a little less full without it. Anyway, now that I'm done shilling for a game that's over a decade old, what else has been going on in the news recently?
What else? Well, besides Battlefield 5 again.
Yeah. I'm hoping Inquisitor would be here for this part, but do you think it's offensive or offensive to the soldiers that serve, that they're portraying it wrongly?
The soldiers that serve, probably not.
Fair
Now
enough.
into the whole, damn it. That just lost the roll there.
Anyway, hoping Inquisitor will be here for this. Hopefully he'll stop by later, though. Let me think.
I have the worst character in this game, where I'm just bad at it.
Probably the worst character. Or I'm probably the worst character, honestly. Since my whole life is just some comedy melodrama.
No, it's not that bad.
You aren't living it, but how would you know?
No, it could never be that bad.
Fair enough.
Yes, if you can't tell, we didn't plan anything for this.
I know. Do you want to have a subjectivity versus objectivity debate?
Whether or not games can be objectively good or subjectively bad.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I think that was something we discussed. It's now E3 is around, and their games are objectively crap and objectively good.
Well, there's the thing. My problem with the I'm not denying objectivity exists and whatnot. My problem with the concept of objectively good and objectively bad is that good and bad are inherently subjective terms. Like, this is objective, and I am being objective right now, and good and bad are subjective terms. So how can subjective terms be objective all of a sudden?
So you can be objectively subjective.
Well, I'm saying no. Like what I'm saying is like
you majored in philosophy in school, didn't you?
No, but like I did spend a couple semesters of ethics class, which involved a lot of debating.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm asking, like the burden of proof is on you. You're saying objectively good, doesn't. You're saying objectively good exists. I'm saying it doesn't. I'm saying I think it doesn't because good and bad are subjective terms. Now it's your turn to retort.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a retort, then like you concede and I win this debate.
That good and bad can be objective. Well, there are objective standards.
And what are those objective standards?
Well, for example, if I was to commit an evil crime against you, I would objectively be bad.
Like, how is that objectively bad, though? I mean, that's bad for me personally, and I view it as bad. But, like, it might not be bad for someone who might benefit from me. It might not be bad for my sister who will get life insurance out of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you're arguing good and bad standards for different people.
I guess. But, like,
there is definitely objective good and bad for individual people as well. I mean, for you, if I were to go to your house and violently murder you, obviously for you, that is objectively bad. There is no good way you can spin, wow, my former best friend just stabbed me in the chest and I'm dying. I feel so good right now. I mean, unless you're insane, I would guess, then okay, probably.
What if I was suicidal and I wanted to die and you fulfilled my goal?
You wanted to die in the most painful, horrifying way possible?
Yes. Yes, and it's not objectively bad for me, is
it? No. When you think about most people's suicides, what do? They objectively want the shortest route to the afterlife possible. That's why they shoot themselves in. That's why they shoot themselves in the head. That's why they slash their own throats. That's why they throw themselves off buildings. That's why they hang themselves.
Yeah, most, but like not everyone does. I've known, like, not to get too personal, but I've known someone. Like, I have a friend who knows a friend who literally killed himself in a really painful, slow and painful way. So don't tell me
what horrible, painful way?
I don't really want to get into the details too much. So let me think of a vague way to put this out. I'm not giving too much away. Let's just say he got in contact with some drugs and some needles, and he injected himself, and it caused him to pass away very slowly, in a not very good way.
Well, how do you know it was intentional? It could have been an accidental overdose.
It was not an accidental overdose. Trust me, I know.
Oh, was there a suicide note?
No, there wasn't a suicide note because he was next to his wife. Just like I don't want to get in like this is a little. I don't want to get too personal and stuff, but like. Just trust me. I know he did it purposely. Okay.
Yeah, but there is an objective bad to you in dying, though.
Well, like,
in not the best way.
You just proved my point. Like to you, if it's just to you, it can't be objective. Objective means worldwide. Means anyone in the world can look at this and say, "Yeah, this is true." Now, if it's something where it's like, "Oh, to me, to you, it's objectively bad, but to this person it's objectively good," like you can't just like pull that malarkey.
No, it's still objectively bad that you were killed in that way.
So, what about
that's one less person who can. That's one less person who can now objectively contribute to society in noticeable ways.
What is your definition of?
I mean, for all that. For all I know, you could have grown up to be the next Steve Jobs, for all I know, and now you've been killed off. And even if you didn't,
but
you now can't contribute to the planet. That is an objective loss.
For all you know, I could have been the next Hitler. Or
Yeah, come on. Even if we have to do that, I mean, Joseph Stalin and Hitler, you could say they objectively contributed to mankind as well. Because of them, we now know Nazism and communism are terrible. I mean, you could argue that their message kind of fell on deaf ears, but they did objectively contribute to society. And wow, we're really getting dark here, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Like that logic, we can argue like that everyone's objectively contributing to society by merely existing.
Well, in that case, yes, they are. There are measurable ways that you can measure someone's contributions to society. Whether they be good or bad, or in fact, even if something is bad at the time, it can turn into something good objectively. I mean, remember the Alamo. It was bad at the time, but it's good now. Now it's a symbol of pride.
That's the thing, though. Like, objectively means inarguably truth, and scientists use objective because they are trying to deal with facts, and they're not dealing with personal feelings, or perspectives. They're dealing merely with the fact that, like, if I was in science class and I said the fact that this chemical reacted to this chemical is bad or is objectively good, I get kicked out of science class. Want to know why? Because I used words like good and bad.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there are good and bad reactions. Depending on context. Depending on the situation.
No, you just realize this. In science, you're not allowed to use words like objectively good and bad. You know that, right?
Well, I do now.
Earl, I think... Oh, don't quote me on that. I'm 90% certain of that.
Mm-hmm. So you're trying to argue science and you're not 100% objectively sure. I was like, are you losing your own argument here, Papa G?
I might be, but I'm stubborn, so I'm going to keep going on this. Why? What? Let me try to put this in a better way. Let me think. So, say I murdered Hitler and stuff. Would you say that's objectively good?
Well, first I need to think about all the things Hitler historically did. And while I highly doubt you'd get away with it because he survived tons of assassination attempts.
Yeah. My point is, that's my point. You didn't give immediate answers, so you don't...
Well, yeah, because I have to think about history. It was never my best subject. Yes, historically, had Hitler been taken out, the Soviet Union would have gone farther into Europe than it had done originally. And we would still not know that right-wing Nazism is a bad idea. So therefore, objectively, Hitler actually did more good for the world than bad, as terrible as that sounds.
Yep, you heard it right here, guys. I didn't say it. DolphinVi did. Hitler did good things.
Yeah, but then again, well, I'm white, so apparently I'm part of the alt-right by design, according to Black Lives Matter, so might as well own it.
However, you said it, not me. Boy, what I was going to say was that whether I was hoping you were going to say yes and stuff or no, because the thing is it depends on whose perspective it's good for. For Hitler and his followers and people who believed in the ultimate grand solution, it's objectively a bad thing. But for Americans and nearly everyone else in the world, it's objectively a good thing.
It was good for America that Hitler was killed off?
Yes, he was our enemy.
But he would objectively never been able to attack the United States.
No, I wasn't saying to kill Hitler before he rose to power. I just said imagine I killed Hitler during World War II.
Yes, and I can already tell you Hitler objectively was no threat to the United States. He was just a guy who, for whatever reason, declared war on a country he had no chance of winning against.
Well, either way, though, it would objectively help the millions of Jews that died.
Well, how do you know that?
How do I know that? Some death camps over in... I have a little place called Auschwitz that I'd like you to visit. It's a very interesting place, and I think that might answer your question, DolphinVi.
So you're saying Hitler killed all those people? Or was it done in Hitler's name?
it was done in Hitler's name.
Yes,
And,
so even if Hitler was killed, he could have been easily made a martyr, someone else would have taken his place, and nothing would have changed.
well, I guess we don't. Well, this is the thing with subjectivity. We don't really know for certain.
Well, I know for certain. I
maybe
mean,
that would-
look at the following he had. I mean,
Yeah, but
people
like-
like to... I mean, Wolfenstein 2 liked to portray Hitler as this cartoonishly evil nut job, but come on, he got an entire country to exterminate an entire demographic. You don't get that kind of following unless you're really charismatic. And yes,
Yeah,
I am
that's the
coming...
point, though.
Yes, so
Well,
if
like,
he
who's
had
to
been
say-
killed, he would have just been martyred, someone else would have taken his place, and really nothing would have changed.
Yeah, but like, we don't know that for certain. We don't know that for certain because, like,
We do know
the
for
Nazis-
certain because we can just look at other movements that are very similar. Where the case studies, you
Oh.
kill the leader, he's martyred, someone else takes power, and nothing changes.
Okay, well, we can't know for certain because we can't go back in time.
Yes, and even if you did go back in time, it's highly unlikely you'd kill him. I mean, think how many assassination attempts he survived.
I personally think that time travel is impossible, and if it is somehow possible, I think it should never exist because that much power in anyone's hands, I think, is completely wrong, objectively. See what I did there?
So there is an objective right and wrong, then. You've just invalidated your own argument.
No, it was a joke. It was a joke. I was jokingly saying, I was supposed to be a joke, like, oh, look, Papa G said objectively good and bad, Isn't he the hypocrite, the contrarian, you know?
Well, is time travel good or bad? Yes or no?
I personally, subjectively, think that time travel is an awful thing. And if you want to know why, watch or read Steins Gate. But someone could easily make the argument that with time travel, we can make the world so much better or whatnot. And see, that's the thing, is that there is no objective answer to this philosophy. Unless it's tried out and proven. But, like, well, right now, that's impossible to really try out and prove.
Or I could argue, objectively, time travel is completely neutral, as most time travel paradoxes would make it irrelevant. Unless we could prove, objectively, the existence of parallel universes, which are made from time travel.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in philosophy class again. I hate taking that
Well, that's
course.
the thing with me. I really think about shit, and I like to debate them and whatnot with people. Like, as you can probably tell, I'm very stubborn, and I don't give up very easily, for better or worse. And
Yeah,
I
but
like
I'm
to
a dolphin. I can outlast you. I'm a dolphin.
fair enough. So right now, I'm trying to think. Do I have anything else to say? Here's the thing. Okay, like I'll concede that objectivity can exist for literally everything, including morals and whatnot, and science, philosophy, and whatnot. I'll concede to that if you can concede to the fact that to have no such thing as objectively good or bad art.
Objectively good or bad art?
Yeah.
Well, I would say there can be some standards of objectivity in art.
Right. Fair enough.
Unless you're going to try and argue that The Fountain is a good piece of art.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I haven't seen The Fountain.
It's a men's urinal with the artist's signature on it.
Men.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Well, how do I know you're not just saying that because you don't like art films? Maybe you really. hate
You
art
can look
films.
it up if you don't believe me. It
Yeah,
exists.
No, I know that exists. What I'm talking about is for The Fountain. Like, how do you know The Fountain isn't really deep and you just are too stupid to understand it?
Because I have seen the Sistine Chapel. I can tell you that is
What's
objective. What is? You are having an art debate with me and you don't know what the Sistine Chapel is?
No, I know what the Sistine Chapel is. I was just testing you.
They're good. I feel a little bit ashamed to be in this podcast at the moment. No, you can see how everything was planned out ahead of time. You can see how one thing leads to the other to make the great, massive picture all over the ceiling. Compare that to a urinal with some guy's signature on it. Which would you say is objectively the Sistine Chapel is better?
Anyway, I already thought of my next video title. My first video I'm ever gonna make. It's gonna be called "Why the Fountain is Objectively Good." Fuck you, DolphinVi, you're wrong.
Your first video is gonna be taking me on. Okay.
About why the what's it called? The fountain is good. Never even seen it, and I'm gonna do it without watching the film.
You're gonna say a movie is objectively good without watching it.
Yeah. It'll be my masterpiece.
Okay. That's the first I've heard of that.
For the record, yes, I'm just joking. Let me know when we're gonna get started again.
Well, we're good now.
Okay.
I don't know what I was thinking without it again.
Back to the topic. Should I talk about my weird interest with David Cage for a moment?
If you really want to.
Well, I don't want to do it if you don't want to. To be fair, it is something we've touched upon in the past. Trying to think what else we could talk about in the moment. I guess, what are your hopes out of E3? Or anything you're hoping to see some of or more of? Or any of?
Hopefully progress. I mean, I would hope Microsoft is doing better.
Apparently, they showed a bunch of games at their E3, which will make them one of the ones, because honestly, like, any E3 that has more than 2 minutes of talking is already annoying to me. Well, that's a bit of an over-exaggeration. Any E3 that feels like that, I don't know, like I stopped at the beginning of Bethesda's E3 and they were starting to talk about Rage 2, but before they did, they're like, hey, here's the people who did the score for band that is doing the score for Rage 2, so let's put on a performance by them first before we talk about the game. And it's like I'm really annoyed when they like try to procrastinate the time like that. So, need to stop. You need to stop trying to rant on E3 before you can't rant about E3 until it's over.
Well, you can rant about Bethesda's E3. I mean, Rage 2. Seriously, Bethesda. I thought you'd have let that franchise die. I mean, the first one wasn't all that good.
So I haven't never played Rage 2 and stuff. Heard mixed things on it, but like some of the gameplay for Rage 2 actually looks kind of decent. Like I have to see more of it, obviously, before I can decide, but looks kind of fast-paced and kind of like it doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, almost looks like a Mad Max game in a way. Like, in terms of, like, how over the top some things are.
Well, if it's better than the original Rage, okay, I can give it a chance.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen much. I just like popped in for a bit, and I was like, "Hey, that's kind of cool."
I mean, remember, looks aren't everything.
Yeah. Apparently, the Division 2 was announced. So, why am I talking about E3? You know what? Fine. I can do a little bit of pre-ranting on E3. I'm only talking about some basic things here. I'll go into really big detail in the next podcast, guys. So don't worry. But the Division 2 was announced, and so that's a thing. Don't really have any opinions on that. Except for, like, I tried to think of an Ubisoft joke, but I couldn't think of one fast enough. Apparently, one thing that EA did at their conference was they did a lot of talking but very little showing. Like apparently with Anthem, all they did was they pulled some of the creators, some of the writers and directors on board to talk about what they're doing for the game. Keep in mind that at the last E3 they showed actual gameplay, so
Not this time, though.
down in quality. What? Yeah, not this time. This time they just had some weird 3D thing where one of the character, like they did this weird 3D thing where it was like, oh, there's like a monster coming out of the screen and there's this soldier who is attacking him and whatnot. And yes, that was kind of cool on a flashy visual level, but other than that, they just brought up some people who were talking about what they were going to do in the game and didn't show anything. And stuff. They just said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this and this in game. We're gonna support it for years on end, and there's gonna be no loot boxes, blah blah blah." Pretty much just all talk, no show. And and we all know of how, and well, maybe you guys don't know this, but like I'm not really a fan of like games that just talk about it and like don't show anything. Well, that's kind of a not you. I do have to say though, I'm really, I do like. This is gonna sound very weird of me, but I've always been a person that likes unique titles or something that's like kind of. I don't know why I like the title of Anthem, just because it's like, hey, it's a different title than. I don't know, just it sounds unique or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I think of Anthem, I think, oh, something cool and smart, or I don't know. I need to say something good, you know? I need to say something good about BioWare these days. When everything else is bad.
Make sure you just can't let BioWare die. I mean, I think we
Yeah,
just
I'd
have
let
to
it
accept it that it's pretty much dead at this point.
I would accept that it's pretty much dead, but still, though, I'm foolishly holding out hope that maybe they'll make one more good thing before they die. I know that's really stupid of me, but a child, I have problems with letting things go. But even still, like, but like one good thing, but one thing I will have to say about this, even though I can't look forward to what's to come, I can do one thing, and that is I can revere what came before. And I don't think anyone can fault me for that.
Yep.
Pretty much all you can do.
But we can also look to the future.
Yes. Looking to the future is important. And with BioWare, I can't say like, oh, they're the greatest company anymore. But what I can do is go back on some of their classic games and continue to recommend them to people who haven't played them. Which is something that I will do constantly going in the future.
Yep. So you're still gonna love them for the past.
Yeah.
You're not gonna let the past die and kill it if you have to.
Depends on the context. If it's like, if the past should die for a better future, then yes. But if the past should die for a shitty future, then no.
Yeah.
Which is probably what a lot of people feel about The Last Jedi.
Yep. That one I say should just die for the better past. Or that Legends should be made canon.
Yeah. But like it is canon, if like that's the thing with Disney Star Wars. Is he still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, sorry, I thought I disconnected for a second there.
I'm just in the middle of a firefight at the moment.
That's the thing with the expanded lore and like Disney Star Wars. If you don't like Disney Star Wars, don't want it to be canon, then don't worry. There's a lot of other stuff that you can just watch.
Yeah, but I wish they'd make stories about that.
Fair enough. Maybe I'm just childlike, because I'm like, if there's a story that I don't like and I don't think it's worthy of a franchise or something, I'm just like, oh, that's not canon. This is canon. My own head thing, or this other alternate story that was made.
Well, yeah, but Legends is actually there's a difference between Legends and Disney canon. Legends is actually good.
Yeah. So like you can just pretend Disney Star Wars doesn't exist and say Legend is canon.
I would, but I really can't exist. I can't do that.
Why not? Because Disney legally owns Star Wars.
There is that.
You know, just because Disney says something is and isn't canon shouldn't stop you from, like, loving it. Like, it was canon until Disney
Damn.
Star Wars had it and stuff, so... What I'm trying to say is Disney with Star Wars is, if you like Disney Star Wars and want to consider it canon, great. If you don't like it and think it's terrible, then, well, consider the expanded universe canon then. And I don't care like what is officially and officially isn't canon. All that matters is what you and your heart thinks. I'm giving a real emotional, inspirational speech here, guys. So I hope you're all listening.
So feels trump reels, basically.
To an extent, yes. Or like.
Okay, I'll accept that in this context.
Feels. It depends on how much like. It depends. Look at it this way: feels trumps reels when like you don't like the reels, and there's tons of other feels out there that you can more than easily access, which is like, easily true for the extended universe. You know what I mean?
Okay. Maybe it's just me being the standard male liking things to be objective.
Maybe it's me being the standard millennial.
Yeah.
Trying to keep hope alive.
Yeah, but then again, I also identify as a woman, so maybe I also like the subjective a bit more. That's why I want legends to be real. Like, my god, being an SJW like social justice warrior is really hard, being always this gender confused. How do they do it?
Yeah. Oh, like, when did Legends take place, by the way? Was it like a prequel story, or was it like a sequel story?
Well, I guess there's stories that happen in between the movies, and then there's what happens right after Return of the Jedi.
Interesting. Oh, they still exist. They're not ruined in the slightest, guys. And that's something I never got. I never got my childhood is ruined argument really a lot, just because it's like, my childhood died like when I learned that black and white doesn't exist. Like when I was a kid and I learned that, not very little, I learned that, what, there's no such thing as the world isn't black and white, I was crushed. But I've learned to grow over it, so my childhood isn't ruined.
When you learned that black and white wasn't real?
No, I said that I used to think the world was just black and white in terms of morality. So like, when I was like really little.
Okay.
At first I was really... Never mind, this is a bad analogy. What I'm trying to say is, Rian Johnson is a genius and Disney Star Wars is amazing. And
objectively, he is not a genius.
But he is handsome. And
no,
great
he isn't.
waifu material. He's a great waifu material. And a really master troll.
Dude, he is not a genius, and I would not call him handsome, even if I did go that way.
Oh, you're a lesbian?
Well, why not?
You said you had... So what are you? You just said you don't go that way, but you identify as a woman.
I guess objectively I'd be a lesbian then.
I wish Inquisitor was here so like we could get his 2 cents on objectivity versus subjectivity. Be interesting. Sucks. Anyway,
okay, then how about this? Mary Sues are objectively bad characters. Do you give me that
again,
one?
I don't... Well, it depends on like who the... Well, like what is your definition of Mary Sue? Is a Mary Sue just someone who's really strong, or is it someone who is poorly written? Because I've seen some people call just really strong characters like... The problem with Mary Sue is I see it thrown around a lot for characters that don't deserve it at all. Like, I'm trying to
someone who's massively perfect at absolutely everything with no explanation, and they seem to get stronger as the script demands it, not organically.
Then, yeah.
And they're way stronger than they
but...
deserve to be with no real explanation of why.
Like Like here's one annoying. Here's like one example of an annoying case for someone. I guess Gary Stu in this case. I don't know if you ever seen Cowboy Bebop, but I once heard people call Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop a Gary Stu. And again, I don't know if you've seen Cowboy Bebop, but if you watch Cowboy Bebop, you'll realize quickly that he is not a Gary Stu. Not only does he fail, but like he's a badass for certain reasons that are very will not spell down the series, but are heavily implied.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who think Luke Skywalker was a Mary Sue. I mean, let's ignore the fact the evidence he isn't is in his right hand. They still think he is. I mean, Tenga tried to argue that he was a Gary Stu, and no one complained.
I mean, well, that's not true. People complained, and he got into...
Hello? Damn it, if you cut out again. Oh, there you are.
I'm right here. Okay, now, I was saying Frintonga did argue with people, didn't he? Like, didn't people just, like, didn't... Like, people did argue with Frintonga, isn't that right?
Yeah.
For the... And, like, on some level and stuff, you could make the argument that he, like, has some traits of a Mary Sue, Gary Stu, but, like...
There's already
overall,
a video that's done that. They said he had some traits, but having some traits of a Mary Sue does not make you a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
I mean, Anakin Skywalker has some traits of a Mary Sue. And yes, he does, I admit that. But he is definitely not one. I mean, hello, he gets his limbs cut off. I mean, God knows how many times.
Fair, though, like, and to be fair, though, he's more of like he's pretty much space Jesus, kind of, or at least sort of space Jesus. I mean, he didn't have a father. He was super powerful and stuff. Like he
gets his limbs cut off, turns evil.
Well, that's later stuff. I'm just saying, like, at the beginning, he was, like, built up to be, like, this great thing and stuff. And then, like, I'm saying, yes, like, I agree with you with what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I would say that disqualifies him from being a Mary Sue.
What else? I did see, I can't remember what I saw. I saw this on Twitter, but, like, I can't remember where I saw it, though. Where it's pretty much someone took the scene from Phantom Menace where Anakin's mother saying like, oh, he had no father or whatnot, and they replaced it with text where Qui-Gon said, no father, huh? Solo, you son of a bitch. So it's pretty much implying that Han Solo was his father. So that was kind of funny.
I don't see how that would be possible.
It's a joke.
Yeah, I know, it wouldn't make any sense. I mean, the timing would be all wrong.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. One thing that, I don't want to sound SJW about this. Like, I do agree Rose is a terrible character in Star Wars, but one thing that I think does suck is that, if it is true, that I heard that the actress who played Rose was kind of harassed off of Twitter, and that's...
the details are still a bit off on that. Maybe it's real, maybe it's just a setup from Disney or Lucasfilms to get this, I don't know.
What I'm trying to say is if it's real and she really was harassed to such an extent, I think people really need to calm down and stuff. I mean, yes, he was a bad character and stuff, but it's like, it's not really her fault. She's just an actress. She's just performing what she was going to do. I mean...
I know. Rian Johnson objectively gave her terrible material to work with. There, do you admit that?
I don't agree she gave her objectively. I believe he gave her bad material to work with, yes. But objectively bad material, I'm 50-50 on that. I'm willing to admit it. If someone were to squeeze me out, I'd say yes, it's objectively bad material, but... What else? Oh,
okay, so there is such thing as objectively bad in movies, then.
No, I'm willing to give someone a leg when I realize that there's no convincing them.
You say that if you want to.
I will.
Yes. Okay, ever alert, Papa G is objectively a sore loser.
Oh, sorry, I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, I know when to hold them and when to fold them. Right now it's folding time. Eventually I'll start holding again, but not right now.
Mm-hmm.
But all seriousness though, like if it is true if she was severely harassed, please don't do that, guys. Like don't hate on the person hate on the person who's just trying to get some work. You know, like I never got that thing. Like why do some people like blame the actors? Like I mean, I guess you want to blame them for their performance, and yeah, but like it's not their fault they were given bad material to work with. I mean, Andy Serkis played Snow. Why aren't people making fun of Andy Serkis? Is it
Well,
because he's a good actor?
Well, yeah, Snoke was actually a good character.
No, he wasn't. Snoke is a terrible character. So then
No, he was definitely freaking powerful. He was intimidating. It was Rian Johnson that killed him off. When he really shouldn't have.
Oh yeah.
So that substitute teacher Mr. Smitherton could take his place as the main bad guy.
Well, yeah, he was powerful, but that doesn't mean he's a good character. If we're judging what good character is by power scales, then clearly Rey is the best character in the Star Wars series.
Well, no, you can objectively judge how good a villain is by how much they challenge and push the main character. So let's look. What did Snoke do? He challenged Rey. He deceived her. He actually used her Mary Sue-ness against her to make her think she could do anything, and he got her to his throne room where he was objectively able to kick the crap out of her. So say, do you not see how there's objectively a good villain?
Well, the thing, from I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like for me, a good villain is someone who like maybe has the personality and like not only challenges someone through force, but also challenges them through ideology sometimes, which I guess you could argue Snoke did, but like I guess power is part of it. Oh hey, Inquisitor. How's it going?
What's this podcast about?
A couple things.
Yeah, there was E3, then there was some other debates to try and pass the time. And yeah, this Battlefield 5 was gonna come up. You missed all the tech problems, don't worry.
We were talking about objectively good versus subjectively good. I was arguing that in terms of art, there is no such thing as objectively good or bad and whatnot.
5?
Just in general. We didn't really talk much about Battlefield 5. But
Speaking of Battlefield 5, what do you guys think of that little change I made to the logo?
Battlefield Vagina. Yes. Yeah, that's good, because now we have you here.
That was actually pretty funny, I have to admit. But I have to ask, though, me and Inquisitor, if you guys aren't part of Discord, had a very brief, not really argument, just more of, like, discussion about, like, how the Battlefield 5 and there being women and whatnot. And you never explained to me why is it an oxymoron? Why is what I said an oxymoron? And for context, I pretty much said, like, Inquisitor said he's not going to be buying Battlefield 5 due to them, like, not portraying World War II correctly, and I was saying, what if the game is, like, really fun, though? Like,
so basically you said, what if it's really good?
Like, it's a really fun game.
That a World War II shooter with, women fighting in the front lines with sniper rifles.
Fair enough.
Like, there's something to be said about the aesthetic of a game when you're trying to be immersed, and everything about it would take you out of the immersion.
Fair enough, but like, here's the question, and and I'm not for just me playing devil's advocate here, but like, when did DICE ever said that they were aiming for historical accuracy or immersion?
We're gonna do their take on World War II. Well, World War II had a pretty specific antagonist in terms of Public Enemy, and I'm not gonna say that women didn't fight. Like, there were some very rare instances in which women were in conflict, but not to the extent that they show here.
Yeah.
I mean, this was clearly an agenda being pushed by DICE.
Yeah, it was. No, it
It
was. I
probably
mean, one of the main big developers himself pretty much admitted it.
Yeah, but
He
like,
said
you
in
know
an
that-
interview, "I don't want my daughter to ever ask me why is there not a character that looks like me in a game." I was like, yeah.
To be fair, though, how do we know? To be fair, who was that developer? Director or one of the lead developers of the game, or just some Joe Schmo who delivers the coffee or whatnot?
No, it was one of the developers.
Okay.
I mean, I
People who
can
delivered the
find.
coffee. I don't think they would have put much thought into it.
Well, like, my point is how far up, like, in the run of the development team is he? Is what I was trying to say.
The chain of command. Far enough where they made the change. That's all that matters, really.
Fair enough. Anyway, but like, anyway, though, do you think it's disrespectful that they're doing this? Like, do you think they have a moral obligation?
Okay,
to portray
first
this
of
like
all, I have a coworker who doesn't really play video games that much, but he still, enjoys the time to time.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Pakistan, okay?
Yeah.
And he watched that Battlefield 5 trailer and thought this has nothing to do with World War II. This doesn't look realistic at all. And he said that one thing I noticed, every character in that Battlefield 5 trailer, not one of them was wearing a World War II uniform. Trench coats, some semi-modern camouflage. He said they all look like crack. He said they all look like hacks or crack addicts or something. Is what he said. Part of the trailer, you saw a guy there with an AK-47, which did not see service until much later, after World War II.
So, to be fair, though, Battlefield 1 had that as well.
Automatic weapons, and I thought that was just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, you had them. How to put this? You could play Battlefield 1 and have it feel somewhat like Battlefield 1. Like, you could actually play with semi-automatic weapons, too intrusive and too out of place. Yes, there were the guys that could like jump on a horse and jump on a guy's back and then have two flamethrowers on top. That was just exploiting the game.
Yeah.
But this is, it's like letting the fat retarded kid who usually sits at the back of the bus sit in the middle of the bus with all the other guys playing Magic the Gathering.
That's like thought of there. But I can see where you're coming from, yeah. Me, I'm pretty indifferent to it.
Just as good a player as the kids who have like binders full of cards and shit.
Fair enough. I'm pretty different to it because I played a Battlefield game before.
In which case, Battlefield 1's pretty good.
Okay. I'll be sure to check it out.
Ted Papa G, you kind of cut in and out there.
I was saying, I'm pretty indifferent to it for the most about the situation for the most part because I don't really care that much about Battlefield. What do you think the DolphinVi? Like, if it's like an amazing 10 out of 10 perfect game, like, would you be able to overlook like the historical inaccuracies, or do you think the historical inaccuracies are just too distracting for you?
They do kill immersion quite a bit.
So, like, even if it was like a 10 out of 10 amazing game, you think you'd have trouble getting into it?
Well, I could probably get into it if they were just going all out on the fact that this is alternate history or we're just not caring about historical accuracy. I mean, Valkyria Chronicles is, like, it's a game it's based on World War II, and it has World War II elements, but it's clearly not World War II. They made that clear from the beginning, so I can ignore that. I mean, if the game
portrayed itself like that, I could be a little bit more lenient. But that's not what they're portraying.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I haven't really seen this anime, but I saw it like when I was going through some lists. And this sounds like the weirdest thing ever, but like, since we're talking about alternate history World War II, I might as well mention it. So apparently there's this show called Strike Witches, where pretty much the premise of the show is a bunch of young teenage girls fighting in World War II, but they don't wear pants for some reason. And all I could think when I was saying that is, all I could think when I saw that was, what the fuck did I just stumble upon? Did I just stumble
I think
upon?
we all know the demographic they're aiming for with that one.
Clearly, they're aiming for the historical accuracy brand, right? Clearly,
Well,
they're trying to be the most historically accurate.
Yeah, it's different
What I'm
because
saying-
you can
okay,
tell it's not
there's-
historical accuracy from the beginning. That's not what they're going for.
So some of these franchises, they wear their, they wear their self-awareness on their sleeve, and it makes it charming for that. This, it's more like they try to sneak it in. And I'm sorry, but have you ever seen a prosthetic arm from the 1940s that functions as well as it did here?
I haven't
With
seen
holding a sniper rifle?
I can't say I've seen one at all from that period.
No. And World War II technology functioning accurately that well with a prosthetic arm.
A minute. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
She was working with Tony Stark levels of accuracy with that prosthetic arm there.
Now I just can't get. Now my brain just won't get off the fact that I brought up that anime from everything. My
Yeah.
God, I've.
Well, as I said, if had the game just been like that, it made it clear right from the damn get-go that historical accuracy, we're throwing it to the wayside, then I'd be able to overlook it. I mean, I think I said this in, like, the first part of the episode 15 of our podcast. I mean, if we're gonna just get rid of historical accuracy, let's own it. I mean, let's make Hitler an anime trap girl, let's make all the Nazis anime traps, and their goal is to exterminate the Jewish race by getting them addicted to traps.
Hold on,
Yes.
wait.
Why not?
What if, and this is a really wild fucking what if, but what if there's were actually those vampire Nazis from Helsing?
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, why not?
That'd be something.
Anyway, oh god, that'd be awesome. I could play Get Ready. I could play Get Ready to Die like over and over and over again.
They should just have like a video game where they have the premise from like that. I've never seen the anime, so I don't know how far they go with it. But like, we need a bunch of anime girls who refuse to wear pants for reasons, and like have it not be explained, just have it be for reasons. They'll make it funnier, and have Hitler be this like ultimate like cartoon character. I just go all out, guys. That's what I'm hoping Dice does. That's what I'm hoping Battlefield 5
Throw elements of Kung Fury in there, and you've got a complete set.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if we could do that then again, because like of how PG and how feminist would probably get nowadays. So I don't know if that would work, but maybe we can make it a Japanese game.
That being said, like as egregious as that is, it wouldn't make it unplayable. But what really killed the whole thing for me is the fact that they're including a battle royale mode.
I see. I can understand.
If I want to play battle royale, I'm gonna go play fucking Quake 3 Arena, okay?
Fair enough. Speaking of things, questionable things. Speaking of questionable things from Japan, I just remembered one other topic we could talk about. You told me about yesterday that apparently Dead or Alive, is it 8 or 10 is coming? Is that right, DolphinVi?
6, I think.
6. And apparently they're...
That reminds me. Ninja Theory is the creator of that franchise, right?
I don't think so, no, but I think I know what you're gonna say.
Capco or something.
Yeah. A Ninja Theory... Are you gonna bring up that Ninja Theory was bought by Microsoft?
I wanted to know what you guys' thoughts on that.
Right
That
now,
they're gonna try and make Dead or Alive 5 apparently less sexual. Like, why would you do that?
First things first. DolphinVi, first things first.
Dead
I
or
don't know if
Alive.
you knew about this, but earlier today it was announced that Microsoft bought Ninja Theory. Do you have any thoughts or opinions on that?
I wonder what exactly they're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just gonna ruin
Yeah,
Ninja Theory as
wonder-
well.
From the sounds of it, they want to try and make more, engaging for single-player exclusives.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do.
I
I don't know if that's gonna
Goodbye,
work
Ninja
for
Theory,
them
then.
because, yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, Theory, from what I understand, can be mixed bad. I mean, I heard they did, what's it called? Hellblade, which I heard is pretty good, but they also did the Devil May Cry reboot, which I haven't heard great things about.
No,
And,
don't even bother playing that one.
It's really funny how, like, if you guys want to see, like, fight the war of journalists versus fans, look up the DMC Devil May Cry controversy. Because, wow, were there so many journalists that were defending that game and calling the fans salty bitches for not liking it.
No, there was a reason they didn't like it. Trust me.
Yeah, I know.
People who don't like it, trust me.
Yeah. But anyway, like I was trying to say, it's Ninja Theory, from what I understand, seems to be a mixed bag.
Yeah, but Microsoft has a bit of a bad habit of ripping away creative freedoms from the development studios it gets and filling them with problems.
Which is kind of funny because I think one of the things they said during the whole announcement was that we look forward to giving these creators a lot of creative freedom and whatnot. And all I can think is, yeah, okay, Microsoft, whatever you say.
Yeah,
Well,
sounds like corporate PR
genuine,
speak, really.
Phil
Yeah.
Spencer is in fact being genuine, and if they are learning from their mistakes, I mean the whole push for the subscription-based thing I think is complete bullshit. But if they are learning from their mistakes and willing to let floodgates of creativity turn this whole thing around,
Yeah. Yeah.
provided that the next Xbox.
It'll be called the Xbox 3. That's I think they should call it the Xbox 3 to further confuse people and piss them off. I think that'd be really funny.
The Xbox 240 or
I still buy Xbox 3. I think that'd be really. I think it'd be,
play at 240 frames per second now.
But how do they top the Xbox One X? I mean, do they make games that can only run on the One X now? Is that what they're gonna do?
no.
Really want to get if they really want to get the best out of the creativity from the teams that they've acquired, quote unquote. They've actually started their own Santa Monica studio, because Sony Santa Monica Studios are the ones behind God of War. Makes one wonder: is it because they have a studio in Santa Monica that they're actually suddenly going to have this big flow of quality content?
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think the city of Santa Monica is magic or anything.
I remembered one funny quote from. Speaking of Santa Monica, I remembered one funny quote from a No Bullshit video he made on God of War. Now, I know you're. I'm not going to talk much about No Bullshit. Just one single line he said. Apparently, he was talking about SJW stuff in God of War. At one moment, he said probably the reason why there's SJW moments is because it's made by Santa Monica. We all know those people in California or in Santa Monica are all a bunch of like rainbow heads or something. And I'm like, what? I literally couldn't believe him when he like. I literally couldn't believe I heard that when I watched the fucking video. He really did say it. Like I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he literally did say something like that. Okay, enough of No Bullshit for the day. I just wanted to share that. I'm sorry.
Announcing all those studios was nice and all, but not once did they mention any new games coming from those studios.
Well, apparently there's the Happy Few from that studio that started as an indie game and is now technically a AAA game, and has apparently undergone a lot of changes since
Happy
being
Few
an
is-
indie game.
Happy Few isn't an exclusive game though.
Yeah, I know. Well, to be fair though, I don't think Microsoft has any exclusives anymore, so I can hope like which.
Technically, no, because they can all be played on PC, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, here I'm gonna say something that might sound really stupid. How many PlayStation fans do you think watched Microsoft's conference for Sony's conference, because so many of those games were multiplats?
Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. since like a majority of all games ever are like multi-platform games. So like, it doesn't surprise me that much. What about you? I was asking Inquisitor, like, what do you think?
I'm the one who first asked the question.
Yeah, and I said it wouldn't surprise me.
Because that's what I thought of it. Basically, all the multiplats that I saw in the Xbox conference, I was interested by what I saw by some of them. You
What
okay?
I'm playing. Yeah, I'm okay. Why?
Breathing. Sounded like you were heaving.
Sorry. No, I'm fine. Sorry.
Okay. Kingdom Hearts was kind of cringeworthy. I mean, the voice acting was just... It looks good, but the voice acting was really starting to feel kind of cringeworthy.
I guess Kingdom Hearts is a little more niche at this point.
I wouldn't say it's
Great,
niche.
it used to be great, but the voice acting just made me cringe.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that it was 2005 and everything had sort of had voice acting back then, so it had a certain charm to it.
It was good back then, but when you got guys saying lines like, what do you say? Oh yeah, Rux's heart is inside my heart. I'm like,
well, to be fair, those are already pretty poorly written lines. So, good luck to anyone trying to make those sound good.
Good God.
But like,
I mean,
anyway,
poorly written or not, is that how you show the game at E3?
yeah, like I think some of it is because some of the voice actors literally haven't been in the game since like over a decade or something. But like,
it'd be like watching the original actor for Anakin Skywalker from Episode 1 play in Episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, sir, but like, yeah, I felt the exact same thing, Inquisitor. I like heard half a second of the voice acting, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna mute the volumes of this for now. I don't think I can handle this much cringe. Here's hoping they have an option for Japanese voices. That'd be
definitely. I will say, it was kind of cool to see a new game software though.
I missed that, so I like.
Yeah, Rage 2 was it?
Software. You're thinking of Bethesda.
Okay.
I haven't seen a new game yet. I plan on like really bunkering down soon and really like.
When I was watching the trailer, I actually thought they were gonna bring Tenchu back to life again, but apparently it's not Tenchu; it's some other game.
Okay. Yeah. I just realized I probably sound like a massive weeb earlier when I said I hope they have Japanese voice acting.
Really? I mean, I would definitely choose the Japanese voice acting over the English voice acting right now if it continues to be this bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because look, like, I know a lot of people make the argument, but like you don't really know if they're good actors and stuff because you don't understand the language. One, I can tell at least like when someone's putting on a certain emotion, and two, even if I can't understand it, it's better than bad voice acting. So I'd rather have bad acting from language I can't understand than bad acting from language I can understand.
At the very least, when it comes to drama, you can definitely hear it in a Japanese voiceover.
Yeah, at least that's what I think and stuff.
A bit more genuine and not like some Archie cartoon come to life. Good God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to.
You want to talk about bad voice acting? Watch an Archie cartoon.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the card characters Sakura English dubs. Terrible voice acting.
I can't remember. I didn't even watch this show, but I remember just like scrolling across a show called Kuroko Connect. I was just like randomly browsing random shows and stuff, and it had to be dubbed, and it was literally some of the most stilted voice acting I'd ever seen. And apparently the show is about body swapping or something, so I can only imagine how bad it got from there. But I didn't stick around to find out. After like the first line or two, I was instantly like, okay, yeah, this is not for me. Goodbye. Like, what is it like?
Body swapping?
Long story, I'll tell you later. I don't really know much.
No need. That's fine. Thank you.
No, it's like mind swapping. Like apparently it's a show about where the characters. I don't know what it's about. I didn't watch it.
Let's break this up and start with another topic. What are your guys' thoughts on the new Fallout 76? Did you guys see the trailer, or did you guys see the press for that?
Sort of, but
No.
I had it muted. I didn't understand what was said during.
I only saw the trailer.
We were already doing the podcast at the time, so I had to mute the E3 conference.
So apparently, Vault 76 is going to be online.
No.
A totally online game.
Hmm.
It's going to feature building. It's going to feature multiplayer. It's not just like multiplayer where you just go online with friends and choose a session or something. This is supposedly a game where when you play in the world, in the same world as you.
I'm just. Other than that, though,
Almost like a micro MMO of sorts.
I could see it. I could see that working and be possibly good. But have to really see a lot more of it to really like I'm sure they did show it off and stuff. Like I'll have to wait till it's like gets off the ground and stuff, and like the game like is released and stuff to really see if it's like.
Apparently, they're gonna have
most online games and stuff with me. Sometimes I have trouble really getting into them because like I don't have any friends that play online games with me.
Well, apparently they're gonna have a beta.
The beta? Yeah, I'm starting to see warning signs now.
Yeah.
Well, because the guy, I can't remember their fucking name, but he was very open. He knows that there's lots of bugs in Bethesda games, and he thought like, best way to fix that, well, why not have a beta so people can play and then they can get feedback as to how the game works, and then they can fix it based on that.
Be interesting. Good.
So Bethesda's actually going to fix their own game, in other words?
Exactly.
that'll be something.
Some new Elder Scrolls announcements.
There wasn't.
Sorry?
There was or wasn't.
There was some Elder Scrolls announcements.
I know they announced some...
Sorry, they announced Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, they did?
A mobile game called Blade, which is like a full-fledged Elder Scrolls game, but it's on your phone. And the way they pitched the idea was actually kind of cool.
I'll be sure to look into it. I only caught a brief glimpse of Bethesda E3 before having to tap out to start this podcast, so I'll be sure to really look into it later. Anyway, so
Am I boring you?
No, you're not boring me. You're not boring us. You're not. I can't speak for DolphinVi, but like you're not boring me and stuff. I'm just like really in deep contemplation because it's because like a couple years ago I'd probably be like super excited and super all over this stuff, but it's like with recent Bethesda stuff, it definitely leaves me a bit more in doubt and more of a little nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's perfectly good. You should be slightly more skeptical of them.
Yeah.
I'm just explaining what I saw. What I saw looked pretty cool. The idea behind their mobile game was actually, I thought was kind of nice. Like, some people don't like it, but I mean, I thought it was kind of cool.
Fair enough. Speaking of other videos, should we talk about? I cut you off earlier, DolphinVi. You want to talk about Dead or Alive 6 now? Like, I don't mean to like change topics all of a sudden, but I just want to bring this up because DolphinVi really wanted to talk about it earlier, I think.
And that they're trying to get rid of what makes Dead or Alive good.
Like some sexiness stuff.
Well, yes.
Apparently they're totally...
I mean, hello, Dead or Alive Extreme 3. I mean, you really think people brought that for the gameplay? Do you, Ninja Theory?
Was it made by Ninja Theory?
But I don't know who. I think it was Koei Tecmo. I don't know who was it wrote it. You've got to think about these
I was gonna
things.
say, I was gonna
I
say,
mean,
I'm
that's
pretty
one of the
certain
big
it's
things
not,
about Dead or Alive.
It's like it's
Bouncy.
for soft, the softcore porn, or like border midcore, more like midcore porn, I guess you could
No,
describe
there's
it.
no porn, just material.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Either way, though, that does sound a little stupid. I mean, like, why would you do that when the whole appeal of the game is your sexiness? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you could make the argument that they're trying to appeal to a broader market, but I'm pretty certain.
They still have the skin tight suits, but I mean, it's not the same.
No. No, hopefully that the company will realize what they're doing is stupid and they'll just reverse course. Because I think they tried that with Dead or Alive 5 too, but they got such a backlash against it that they decided not to. So it'll probably happen again. Damn.
So, on the topic of E3, what did you think of Microsoft's conference overall, Inquisitor, considering they're your arch enemy? I'm kidding. Did you hear me, Inquisitor?
Microsoft conference?
Yeah, since they're your arch enemy, what do you think of them?
Arch enemy since what?
I'm joking. I'm joking because you're called PlayStation Inquisitor. It's more of a joke.
Microsoft conference, it was kind of meh. As a game conference, it wasn't bad, but as a Microsoft conference, still not enough motivation to buy an Xbox.
To be fair, all E3s forever are all bad objectively, and you can change my mind. Here's a change my mind. My E3s have always been and always will be bad. Change my mind.
Well, I'll put it this way: after watching Microsoft's E3, I don't feel motivated to buy an Xbox.
To be fair, I don't think anything we could have been saying about very miserly. I'm not poor or anything. I'm pretty well off, but I'm like, I don't want to spend money on this. Or this is good, but it's kind of a little pricey. Like I think every purchase I take, I super thoroughly.
Well, there's the fact that the Xbox One X is completely stunted by its earlier cousin.
So, do you have any hopes for anything you're looking forward to for Sony's conference?
I'm not gonna make any predictions or anything. I'm just gonna take it as it comes.
Yeah. I'm not making predictions either, but if there's one thing I hope to come out of it is I hope to figure out what the heck Kojima's doing. That would be interesting.
More of that for sure. Yeah, Death Stranding.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
As far as the conference in general, I'm gonna go in without any real expectations because it could honestly go either way.
Yeah. I like to with Death Stranded. I like to see actual gameplay, not just another art film trailer. But I'm not saying they're not interesting. It's just like I want to see a game because it's video games, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's Kojima. Okay, he always wanted to be a film director. And ever since the Fox engine was made, he's been wearing that stuff on his sleeve, you know.
Fair enough. Still a video game, hopefully. I mean, he's still a video game director primarily and stuff. And it's still labeled as a video game. Thus, there has to be things.
He's also a perfectionist, so it may be a while before we still see anything resembling a demo.
Yeah.
Maybe. Either way, they're interesting or I don't enjoy them. It's just I like to know exactly what it is, give me an idea, not just cryptic art. I like to jokingly say to myself that what Kojima is really doing is just making expensive art films, and he's just doing it for as long as he can until Sony catches on and stuff. And if he is doing that, that'd be really funny, but really unethical, and that leaves a lot of respect to him. Either way, they're certainly interesting art pieces. I'll say that much, right?
Yep.
What else? What else is going on?
Besides Battlefield 5 Vagina, not sure. No, I like that name. I'm going to use that one for now on, just to piss people off.
Okay. Battlefield. Say Battlefield Vagina. That way, like, the V is already there.
Started by posting that picture.
You started. I have this bad habit of coming across really awesome YouTube videos. So at one point, what I might have to do is one thing I have to do for next April Fool's Day is in the Discord server is gather up a bunch of really awful, cringeworthy, or just flat out weird videos I found and just post them without context into the Discord, into someone's Discord server. I just want to see what's would happen if I do that. Maybe I'll do it to DolphinVi's server and see what happens. Do you give me permission to do that, DolphinV?
To just post random crap in my Discord server?
Yeah.
Well, keep it content, appropriate, right?
Don't worry, it's all
If it's not safe for work, keep it in the not safe for work section.
They're all safe for work, but some of them are mentally scarring in terms of how cringy they are.
Alright, just put them in the not safe for work section then. I mean, as long as you don't put anything from Ghazi Kodzo outside the not safe for work section, I'm totally cool. Hate that guy.
They're all PG-13.
You come to your server the next day, it's filled with red room shit.
Shit, that'll get from the FBI.
Are you guys hearing any wind noise on my end?
Not anymore.
Not me.
Microphone playing in the background. I'm wondering if that's interfering with my ability to hear Papa G, because he's cutting in and out a lot.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
he
on.
was cutting in and out a lot before you came in. Those are the tech issues I was telling you about.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Trying to think. What else has been going on? So,
Well, Valve is just given the go for anything goes now. Like, we're not going to try and censor our store anymore.
yeah, that's good. That is something I am.
Well, I mean, they're saying that people should be smart enough and mature enough to be able to pick and choose what they want without being offended every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm full support of Valve. I support you wholeheartedly on this.
Yes.
It's just sad that this. I'm kind of sad that this had to be a question in the first place, but I'm glad you came out with the right answer.
Yeah. I'm glad that Valve has finally learned the best lesson of business. If you get woke, you go broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because paying customers always matter more than someone like Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah.
For anything.
Trying to think. Can't think of what else I want to talk about right now. I want to talk about one of those things before we close out. Trying to think of something controversial I could say that will ruin my career permanently. I know the perfect thing. Anita Sarkeesian did nothing wrong. She did everything right, and you should all listen to her. There. That worth my millions of views.
Heard worse.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, Angry Joe already tried to defend her, so yeah, Papa G, you're a bit disqualified there.
Yeah, but I say I'm a...
Now if you were mentioning Hillary Clinton, wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Hillary was my waifu. If Hillary Clinton was my waifu.
Dude, you can do so much better.
It'd be a very short-lived relationship considering her health.
What if say I'm in love with Hillary Clinton and I'm not in love with a cardboard cutout of her? Those cardboard cutouts can last for years if you take good care of them.
But they get a little floppy after a while.
Well,
Yeah.
buy a new one.
Justin, well, come on. When it gets floppy, Papa G can yell, "What happened?"
I'll, I'll call her Madam President all the time because I know she'll like that. Oh my god. It's getting a little bit weird.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, should we close up here? Or is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Okay, was there anything else? I'm trying to keep thinking there was something else, but maybe it's just me. I mean, that happens sometimes.
I will. I guess.
I mean, the only thing I could do is shill for some other really great YouTuber called the New Angle Gamer, who deserves more subscribers. People go subscribe to him.
I don't like the New Angle.
Yes, he did not tell me to say that, by the way. I'm not affiliated with him in any way.
The New Angle Gamer is gay, and being gay is for faggots, and being a faggot is against my religion. It is not something I fully support. He's gay, and I do not like him, and he's a boring YouTuber. Don't you agree, DolphinVi? I think it's a shame that you're shilling for such a lowbrow YouTuber like that.
Hey, come on. The New Angle Gamer has done nothing wrong.
Yeah, okay. You can't... Me and, if you guys don't know, me and the New Angle Gamer have a lot of beef. He cucked me and my former wife last Thursday. And it's something that we've been talking about a lot privately, and that's not a nice thing. He oddly looks a lot like DolphinVi, though. I will say that he's a lot like DolphinVi.
So subscribe to him already.
Yeah. What else was I gonna say? There is one other thing I can say that is completely random, but that's that's pretty much my middle name, completely random topics. But it's I want to recommend this one random thing that I don't know if many people know about, at least nowadays. Have you guys ever heard of an anime called Ghost Stories?
Excuse me.
Excuse. Have you guys ever heard of that one?
No.
Well, get ready for the story. The anime Ghost Stories is just some mediocre anime that didn't sell well in Japan and no one really cares about. But the Japanese creators went to the English dub people, the ADR people, and said to them, "Look, we need to make money off this stuff. Okay? We don't care what you do and stuff. Just keep to the general theme of the episodes and whatnot, and don't change any of the characters' names." And you can pretty much do whatever you want, just get us money. They're like, really? And they said yes. And they said, okay. They pretty much turned it into just some sort of comedy. They turned what was originally a horror show into a comedy show. And it is it is really hilarious. I'd highly recommend checking it out.
Comedy show.
It's hilarious and stuff. It's it turns into
Picture comedy and the paranormal in the same genre. That's very hard.
Well, you can watch it. It's called Ghost Stories. One of the greatest English dubs ever done. Because literally the English dub people were allowed to do whatever they want, and they just get a bunch of jokes that literally make fun of everyone. There's one character that's just a born-again Christian, and jokes centered around how she's super religious and whatnot. There's one character who's retarded, and they make a bunch of retarded jokes. And there's some pretty dark and raunchy ones in there, so look it up, watch that.
Basically, it was anime being anime.
Sorry, it's sort of like an abridged series, except with more professional voice acting. And actually funny jokes. Ooh-ah. Other than that, I don't know what else to talk about, so should we close out the podcast for now?
Yeah, I guess we can do that.
Well, I've been Papa G, and
We'll give you more coverage when E3's finally finished.
yes, when E3's completely done, we will give a great rundown of everything and what we think of, or at least the best bits, and we'll give our thoughts on it. Look forward to that, and hopefully
there's still tomorrow Monday with Sony and Nintendo and a few others.
yes. And once those are like next Sunday rolls around, we'll be sure to give our thoughts on it. So until then, have fun, and hopefully E3 won't be too painful this year. Good night.